Hey John, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Yeah, very well. So Google Fiber, you're on a something of a tear at the moment, adding a lot of capacity and fiber to the network. Where did that come from? What's driving that expansion?
Sure. So Google Fiber's been out, and GFiber, as we call it, last couple of years has been out really since 2010. It started out as an effort to really reinvent the internet. It had a lot of what I would call start and stops between 2010 and 2017 and 18, new technologies, new tests. My boss, Diddy Jane, came in 2018 and 2019. I came in, and our goal was to basically take that original idea and actually execute it from an operational standpoint. So that means making sure our P&L is solid, making sure our return on investment is solid, and that, frankly, we have a strategic roadmap that can be successful in what we would describe as highly competitive markets.
Um, there were a couple of hiccups along the way. What did you learn from the earlier expansion efforts that you changed?
This is going to sound a little frivolous, but if your intent is to run fiber across most of the United States, you had better scale up prior to doing it versus trying to do it on the fly. So if you pick, 10, 15 markets you want to go to, it's a lot easier if you have the infrastructure in place, the team in place. My sense was from what I've seen here historically is that GFiber was building these things and learning on the fly to the extent that we actually built our own BSS and OSS system with proprietary code, which added a whole nother level of complexity to what was going on in terms of maintaining, building new features and things like that. So roughly back in 19, we made a call to basically go to a cloud native stack for our BSS and OSS, and that opened the door really for an array potentially of new services, leveraging AI, our data warehouse, and actually taking the next step forward is what we would call a much more modern ISP from where we were.
As an industry, we're hearing a lot of concern over the growth in traffic across all networks driven by AI. Are you seeing any of that increase across your network now?
On the speed front of things, whether it's 5, 8, 1 gig, etc., we're using that as a really deep dive metric into quality of service for customers. So we're measuring everything at the customer level: router performance, memory utilization, RSSI levels, light levels, anything you can think of that a customer would interface with for uploading and downloading internet across pretty much our entire network. So we have a pretty good view of what's happening in real time. I don't think we're here to say right now that AI is causing a huge boom. We anticipate that it will cause a huge boom. And to the extent that we're over provisioning our network pretty significantly to prepare for that.
But I totally understand that, but you're probably better qualified to have a stab or a guesstimate, an educated guesstimate at when we're going to see a real uptick. Do you think it's next year or somewhere beyond that?
So what answer I gave you earlier on Q3, Q4, I'm not ruling out that AI is a driver of that. I mean, just in the last 3 months, whether it's agentic, whether it's some of the studio AI studios that we're seeing, the notebook LLMs, one of the things we're starting to look at is the upload download ratio of the traffic we're seeing to see if it's getting heavily asymmetric or not. And the thought that some of the commands that are going out for AI are text based, and a lot of the responses now have the capability of being video based. That said, I think we're seeing an even lift on both. So like it's not one or the other, which does give us a little pause to say that it's completely AI related or not.
And where are you on your journey to autonomous networking? I mean, the idea of level five autonomous networks scares me actually. And I think it's not something which, given the quantity and level of customer that you serve, it would be particularly popular with them.
I think the challenge is the industry kind of has its tried and true practices for automation, which we fully embrace. Think when we think of I don't think as really a meta company, and really including ourselves, that have thought outside the box enough with the capabilities of AI. We've kind of been playing catch up to what's coming. Here's what's happening in GCP. Here's what's happening on these platforms like ServiceNow and Salesforce and others. But at the end of the day, it's the automation is one end of this, but really mastering automation of the CRM with our customer base and actually building relationships that last longer not necessarily signing up more customers, is really an art that we think our AI will help us with probably over the next 12 to 24 months.
You've got a lot going on, and it sounds like it's really, really going well. Congratulations on all of that, and I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing all of this great news with us. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.